Hello everyone, good afternoon from Valloire, the second run of the fourth Men's Europa Cup Giant Slalom of the season. About 5 minutes away from getting started. We've got a top 30 from the first round, and we will work our way down from 30th to 1st after the first run. Stefano Pizzato will be, I had to apologise, it will be... Get it right. Sandro Zurbriggen will be last to go. He is the leader after the first run with a time of 1:14.03. Stefano Pizzato will get us underway. 30th after the first run, 2.82 off of the pace. When we left you in the first run, we still had about 40 skiers or so to go. A few of the late starters squeezing in to the 30. Hayata Wakatsuki from bib 52 into 29th. Pietro Tranquina from Morocco, bib 65 into 28th. And Jonas Scaba from France, bib 62 into 27th place. Outside of that, there wasn't too many changes to the leaderboards after the first run. Did see, before we came off air, Diego Recchioni from bib 42 squeeze into Gioni. From bib 42, squeeze into 7th place with a great run, 1.06 off of the pace. Perhaps the biggest shock on the first run was the Norwegian second yesterday, Hans Graal Madsen, 44th, 4.58 off of the pace. He's going to have a pretty rutted, pretty bumpy course to deal with. A bit of sunshine around, some high cloud as well here in Valloire. Smith from Great Britain in a tie for second after the first run with Simon Talacci from Italy, both half a second off of the pace set by Sandro Zurbrugg, who was first out of the gate earlier on this morning. My name's Ian Finlay, pleasure to have your company this afternoon on FIS TV. Wherever you're watching in the world, we really appreciate you tuning in, watching the next generation of stars and a few established names as well. This is where future champions grind it out, learn their trade, learn the tools so that you and develop the skills needed to take it on to the next level, of course, in World Cup ski racing. However, we're on the Europa Cup Tour, and this, for me, is so hard because there is so much talent throughout the field of men's and women's Europa Cup skiing. It is full of unbelievably quality skiers. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck. You need things to go your way, climb up the start list, and all of a sudden you can make those jumps. You can make that progress that you're after, but there's a lot of skiers trying to stop you. Focus on your own performance, your own gains, your own improvements. That's what particularly the young skiers are doing. Take a look at Freddie Carrick-Smith in that tie for second. Yesterday's winner. Now, yesterday, of course, he started bib 48, climbed 20 places on the second run. He was 21st. Climbed 20 places on the second run. He was 21st after run 1. This is not a done deal, folks. We're not saying that Zurbrugg is just going to cruise to victory with half a second. Far from it, because this course is going to change throughout this second run. So for those that were quick, very quick on the first run, they're going to have to deal with a different challenge on this second run. We'll see how it holds up. A lot of the course still in shade, but the sun is creeping round. Not the So just running a minute or two behind schedule here, so not sure why we have a delay at the moment. Waiting for Stefano Pizzato to get this second run underway any moment now. Looked like he was in the gate. I'm watching the live timing. He hasn't started yet. 4 runners maybe just on course at the moment, and making sure everything is in tip-top shape ahead of what should be a really thrilling second run. Can Carrick Smith do the double, or will somebody else step up? Can top athletes from the first run on that last page of the start list all the way down to Zurbrugg. 31st onwards, the time gaps are much bigger. It's maybe about hoping to get into the 30, pick up a Europa Cup point or two, see if you can improve your start position for the next Europa Cups towards the end of January. A few skiers getting through that maybe wouldn't have expected to, just the nature of the game with so many skiers coming out on the first run. Well, we've seen the start list. The course has been reset. We'll get a look at it in just a moment or two. Watch out for Tobias Kastlunger as well. 5th after the first run. Was in the lead of the Europa Cup GS standings after a pair of second places in Zinal back on the 4th and 5th of December. Well, there's one of the 4 runners, so we're not ready to go yet. Someone's on their knees at the timing system, which might give you an indication of the problem here, why there's now a 3-minute delay to the start of the second run. They like to be on time in this sport, so I'm sure they're working absolutely flat out to handle the whatever issue there is. And we'll get the racing underway in just a few moments' time. Is somebody going to do a Carrick Smith? An early starter in just a few moments' time. Is somebody going to do a Carrick Smith? An early starter on the second run, climb all the way to victory? I'm not so sure. We shall have to wait and see. Is the winner going to come from the top 10? So on a delay at the moment, and apologies, I don't have any information as to why this race has not got started yet. They've all had an inspection, good feel of the snow conditions. Skis prepped, edges done, wax on. I won't say wax off. Okay, I kind of had to, didn't I? You can see the blue dye on the course there to provide a bit of definition. It is slightly better than yesterday. The visibility is better. In the trees, when it gets in the shade, it's pretty dark, especially this time of year, and it can make visibility a little tricky. But yesterday with the overhead conditions, particularly towards the end of the first run, where the snow was falling, the fog and the clouds were rolling into Valloire, it was more challenging. At least today we've got some clear skies. It was a bit colder overnight, and that allowed for some good course prep to be done. They did the work early, straight after the race, just to ensure they could give the hill time to freeze overnight. It's not even been that cold overnight, but below freezing, and that was the key thing. Great to have the drone pictures as well. It does take a lot, as I was saying on the first run, to put together a live stream of a Europa Cup race, but it does allow these resorts that are stepping up and hosting Europa Cups to get some exposure around the world. Free to watch this Europa Cup around the world, and thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in. Whether you've got up in the middle of the night or you're just getting out of bed. Where would you just be getting out of bed? East Coast of the US, perhaps? Or maybe you're watching in bed if you're in Australia or New Zealand. So, good sign. We're going to get another 4-runner down. Potentially could have had a 4-runner fall. I didn't see anything there. I'm seeing the same pictures that you're seeing. So, second 4-runner gets underway, tells us we are not far. Gets damp. They're not a lot of fun, are they? But you got to deal with them. This is ski racing. This is Europa Cup ski racing. It's meant to be tough. Trust me, it is. So we are just seeing one of the forerunners come down and complete, not quite yet, but complete the course. Gives us a chance to look at it. There's the delay gate on that right foot. New pattern of gates for this second run. For me, one of the key sections here, you come over the roll and then onto this slightly steeper pitch for a couple of gates. You've really got to commit. Longer offset on this second run on that section, and obviously the new pattern of gates, those bottom couple of turns look slightly more favorable. Oh, suddenly got dark. Just there. There we go, that's better. Daylight again, we needed that. It's not a night race. So Stefano Pizzato started bib 9. Finds himself down in 30th, 2.82 off of the pace. And he gets the second run underway. 9 minutes behind schedule, but we are moving with the second run. And Pizzato, 22 years old from run. And Pizzato, 22 years old from Italy. Dropped in with an 11th place yesterday. He's been skiing well. 15th, 16th, and 11th in Europa Cup Giant Slalom this season. He was down in Argentina, racing in Cerro Castor, just outside Ushuaia, back in September. A lot of World Cup skiers, Europa Cup skiers down in that part of the world, training, racing. This man Pizzato is up for Pizzato. Got to be strong on that left foot all the way round. It's a super long arc across the line. So 1:13.71 is second run time. Again, looking like this second run course maybe a bit faster. We shall see. Hayata Wakatsuki from bib 52 into 29th place. He's got 900ths of a second advantage over Pizzato. Not a lot between them. I can tell you they are very, very close at the first sector as well. On the first sector as well. Let's see what the clock on screen says. 100th of a second. So he's lost 800ths of a second on the top section. Will that light stay green further down the hill for Wakatsuki? Here he comes now. Stand on the right foot through the delay. Sweep out left. Nice angle generated by the Japanese skier there. Really pushing here, this clean course, giving these skiers that opportunity to take a little bit more risk. 400ths of a second. Hasn't lost much. In fact, he's made just a little bit of time, but these two are so tight, Pizzato and Wakatsuki. What's it going to be on the finish line? Tells us we got a good course set. These two have really attacked it, the two skiers that we've seen. A little bit bumpy through that section as well. And Wakatsuki in the tuck over the line. 0.22 goes into second place. Not far away, but not where he would want it to be. 27th yesterday. We'll see how that holds up. Pietro Tranchina in the top 30. 2.72 off of the leading time on the first run. Didn't finish the second run yesterday. Immediate. Oh, those hips just being pushed back a little, and Scarbar losing a bit of time here. This is where Pizzato was really on it, really attacking. 0.95 now. Time going in the wrong direction for the Frenchman, but looking for a top 30 finish in Europa Cup GS for the first time this season. Watching the clock for...
C'est quand même bien, quoi, c'est bien. Je veux dire, à Wim, je ne comprends pas parce que justement, il est dans le fond.
Parti 17 au départ.
Ok.
25th place, 0.2 of a second is advantage over Pizzato. Surely not going to see a repeat of yesterday. Once we get to the likes of Hallberg, he's got 3/4 of a second advantage. That's when we'll really know how well that time of Pizzato is going to hold up. It was a great second run from the Italian. Gravier, 100th of a second back. Having to recover, he's having to fight to stay on course. Some more time gone for Gravier. And what was a strong opening section of the second run sees him now finish in 5th place, 1.47 down. Samuel Bissig from Switzerland next to go 20th yesterday. He was 17th in the opening Europa Cup Giant Slalom of the 2025-2026 season. Bissig settling into the rhythm, 0.3 of a second. Big green light on for Bissig. He had big green light on for Bissig. He had 0.31 after the first run, his advantage, so hasn't lost anything yet. Next time check is going to be absolutely key for Bissig here. Is he able to mount a challenge for top spot? Those skis getting a little sideways, but he doesn't get airborne well. 200th of a second. It's not a lot, but it's still a green light. He cannot afford any more mistakes here. This could be the closest to Pizzato's time. Again, let it flow through here. Find that direction. Stand on that ski. Now it is a long arc round the finish, into the finish line. He drops into third, losing about half a second on the bottom section of the course. Wakatsuki was one of the quickest through that midsection into the bottom section, but Bissig into third, and now Pizzato has climbed 6 places. Kato from Japan next to go, 23rd after the first run. 0.43 his advantage over Pizzato.
Allez.
Dossard 13 parti, Dossard 11 au départ.
Il s'est arrêté, il est reparti. Là, il était là.
Good edge change from the Swiss skier. Sure, he'll have lost a little bit of time. How much gets airborne over the roller? 0.19. Could be on for him here, but he has got to be flawless from here on out. Really on a tight line as well. Getting close into those gates, and Jonathan from Switzerland on the charge. Is he going to be able to take it close to Pizzato? To Italy. 10th to go. 21st after the first run. 0.64 his advantage. Then we go into a group of skiers with an even bigger advantage. 3/4 of a second. Seppi has lost 1/10 of a second on the top half of the course. Well, like the line he took, hips getting pushed back a little, but didn't impact on the speed there. And Seppi trying to put one together. Very clean skiing from the Italian, but is it going to be the fastest? We'll see here. Well, just over 1/10 of a second back. Work to do for Seppi. I don't think he's going to go into top spot, but a top 3 very much on the cards for the Italian here. The legs are burning at this stage of the race. It is a battle. You've got to fight. You've got to try and hold it. And into second, 2/100ths of a second back. Really found some time on the bottom section. The quickest of anyone through the third sector. Well, it shows those times are still there on this course as long as you can go out and ski it the way that you plan to. Leo Baraldi now for France, 2.08 behind on the first run. 0.74 his advantage, the first run. 0.74 his advantage over Pizzato, who's been in the lead from the start of this second run. 0.91, he's grown the advantage. These are starting to become very healthy time gaps. We've seen from Seppi, times are still there on the bottom section. Hanging on here as he lost some time. Certainly on the charge, isn't he? Going for it, taking the risk. Baraldi. Most of this course still in the shade. Baraldi not as clean through that section, but loses more time on the bottom. 0.49, nearly half a second off. And he goes into 5th place. Now, Hallberg wasn't happy with his first run. 3/4 of a second. 19th after run 1. The leader of the Europa Cup standings. But if this doesn't go to plan, he could lose that lead. Small error there, but he's got 0.93. He's made some time. We know Hallberg will throw everything at this run from 19th on run 1. Looking to climb up towards the top 10. We've seen Pizzato climb 10 spots already. Wakatsuki has climbed 7 places. And Hallberg had the green light on at the top. Approaching the next split, just about gets airborne. And Hallberg, 0.89. This is the best we've seen on the second run so far. He did have that 3/4 of a second advantage, but he's skiing it beautifully here on the second run. A second run charge on the card from Edward Hallberg, and he is really pinching it on the bottom section. So dynamic. Clean on that left ski and into top spot by a second. 1.02. That is impressive from Hallberg. The quickest individual second run by 0.27. A run that'll take some beating. That is what Carrick Smith did yesterday from almost the same spot, not quite, and he held on for the absolutely on it. Showing us all how to ski the second run, much like Carrick Smith did yesterday. Has a top 3 at the moment. Plenty of room to go into second. Airborne, a little twisted, but not too much damage done on that section. The damage done further up the course for Remsoy. 1.6 seconds back. Oh, and he's in big trouble. Remsoy, a DNF for him. Out of the course on the second run. And the Norwegian, who finished 13th yesterday, not picking up any points today. Nick Sporty now from Switzerland. 17th after the first run. 700th of a second. His advantage over Hallberg. 2 seconds back off of Sandro Zurbrugg, his teammate. Leads after the first run. Sporty at the first split. Well, he's lost some time. Losing 0.13 on that opening section. Nick Sporty. The Swiss skier coming through the delay gate, getting very low, compressed. Handles it nicely. Strong skiing from handles it nicely. Strong skiing from Sporty, but some time has gone through this section. Skiing pretty rounded. Now he's pushed late and he's pushed out of the course. A risk too far for Nick Sporty. So 2 DNFs in a row on this second run. Gunnlaugsrud next to go for Norway. His advantage for him yesterday. The advantage, he had a lot of work to do in the second run. He had a big mistake on run 1, and it caused him some problems. He was 5th in the second Europa Cup Giant Slalom of the season. Good on the top split from Gunnlaugsrud. He's got a great technique, as most of the Norwegians have. Really getting close to that red gate coming out of the delay. Set him up on a decent line. Not a lot wrong with this run from Gunnlaugsrud. Gets airborne though, has to work and stand on that right ski. 100th of a second. He's on a bit of a charge here. Skiing into provisional second place if he can hold it from here on out. But Hallberg was so quick on the final section of turns. Here is Gunnlaugsrud. Probably his best run of the couple of days we've seen here in Valloire, and it's good enough for second place. 0.77, really losing a lot of time on that bottom part of the course. So Hallberg, well, he likes the leader's chair or chairlift. Lardon, bib 37 into 15th place. 0.41 his advantage over Hallberg. The man from Les Deux Alpes. The man from Les Deux Alpes. Hoping that advantage will really help him. 24th yesterday. Might be on course for a better day today. Improve that start number. Start number 37, bib 37 in Europa Cup. GS, it's a long way back. We saw yesterday it can be done. But you're making life difficult, so accumulate those points. Skis.
Auguste, honnête.
In that mid part of the course. Is he able to avoid losing too much more? Second place is certainly possible. Been a very clean bottom section, very aggressive is certainly possible. Been a very clean bottom section, very aggressive, and it might just work for the Frenchman. 300ths of a second. He goes into second place. Closest anyone has got to Hallberg. Reto Mechler. 13th after the first run. 0.58 his advantage. Next split is going to be absolutely key. This is where Hallberg was so aggressive, but he had the line. Got that force on the ski right where he needed to. Quarter of a second for Mechler. That would be good enough for third place as things stand. Mechler with just a few more turns to negotiate here. And Mechler crosses the line, 5th, 0.88, so struggling on that bottom section of the course. Hallberg sees off another. Guilherme Fevre now, 0.64 his advantage, 12th after the first run. Once we get to Recchione in 7th, that's where the time gaps over Hallberg go. Up to a second, and Fevre in big trouble there, losing all of his advantage. Well, it's still half a second, but that's going to be reflected at the next split. Surely, miraculous recovery from Fevre. Still on course. Hallberg there just having a chat with Gunnlaugsrud. Back to Fevre. Now the Frenchman knows he's made a huge error in this run. 600ths of a second. The time is gone. All net second for France. 300ths of a second back. But Fevre charging. How much is that mistake going to cost them at the finish line? Prado. Hit the points in Kranjska last season. 24th place on the day that Henrik Kristoffersen got the victory, and that was from bib 38. .53 on the first split for Bridger-Geil. Little on the inside exiting the delay. Now Geil generating some great angles here. Not forcing it too much. Going with a rut, but .28. That would only put him into 4th place. Now Geil having to try and let those skis run through this section. Knows what's to come through here. Out of this turn, and then it's into the tuck and work your way down to the finish line. 4th place, .55 back. Hallberg now has moved up 8 spots on this second run. The men's 4th Europa Cup Giant Slalom of the season. Now Eric Reed, 4th place for Reed yesterday. He had the second fastest of the second runs, just missed out on the podium. Hallberg grabbed 3rd yesterday, and Hallberg might now be dreaming about a podium. 1.17, Eric Reed is on one again here. The biggest advantage we've seen at that first split. And the Canadian, with all the experience in the world, taking advantage of a better start number in today's race. Bib 19 for Eric Reed today. He was a late starter yesterday. Through this final 10 seconds or so, and he might be able to overhaul Hallberg. It's going to be very, very tight because Hallberg was exceptional on the second run. Eric Reed's done it by 100th of a second. Great couple of days for Eric Reed. I'm sure he's got what he wanted out of this Europa Cup stop in Valloire. Robert Serracanta now for Spain. Another skier strong on the first run. Skied into 9th from bib 16. He's got 300ths of a second out of the gate on Eric Reed. That has dropped now to 0.35. So work to do with the red light on. But a very aggressive skier. Loves taking a risk. You can see that in his style. Oh, and that's a risk too far. Serracanta out of the race. It was going to be a good score for him today. We move on. Noel Zwischenbrugger will be next to go. He's just got 600ths of a second advantage. Nobody's got a huge, huge gap over our leader, Eric Reed, until we get to the last man, the fastest man from the first run, Sandro Zurbrugg. He's got 1.17. Carrick Smith and Talachi have got 0.67 of an advantage. That is if nobody else goes into top spot. Zwischenbrugger, 8th after run 1, 600th hundredths of a second his advantage over Eric Reed. Hallberg's still the fastest on the second run, the fastest individual second run. Eric Reed's run the 6th quickest point.
Les stabilisateurs? Ouais.
Après l'hiver c'est bon. C'est les ossements? Non.
Exact.
Didn't qualify, in fact, Copper, Beaver Creek, Val d'Isère World Cups. Would love a result on the board, especially from a high start number. And the skier from Courchevel doing everything he can here. Up at that second split, so Eric Reed, his lead might be in danger here. Recchioni has put together so far 2 fantastic runs from bib 42. And now the Frenchman just has this to negotiate.
Parti. 8 au départ. 8 au départ.
Kastlunga underway. 0.35 his advantage over the Frenchman, who leads here on home soil in Valloire. 0.35. Kastlunga still has the green light on. We go on the drone. And the drone turns away as soon as I said it. Kastlunga, a lot of World Cup experience. Consistent in the opening 2 races of the Europa Cup Tour.
Huit parties, 4 au départ.
Our top four. Kastlunga is going to be safe in top spot with just 3 to watch to see if he will bag another Europa Cup podium. But Bakovic drops a long way, 16th, 2.05 back. Not a great run from the Norwegian there. Gunnlaugsrud, the best of the Norwegians, in 10th. Talaci, half a second down on Zurbrugg, who led after the first run. 0.12 his advantage on the tops. Lunga can enjoy the leader's chair, but he knows that Talaci is fast today. How fast is he going to be on this second run, though? Very nice through that midsection of the course. Now approaching the roller, deals with it well. Great position, and 0.17 his advantage. So Talaci on a flyer on the second run, looking to deny his teammate a victory. It's going to be very, very tight on the line, surely. Let's see if Talaci could get into top spot, carving through on that left ski. Talaci dives for the line, second by 0.02 of a second. Kastlunga holds on. Kastlunga guaranteed a podium, 60 Europa Cup points at least coming his way. Now Freddie Carrick-Smith, yesterday's winner, in a tie after the first run with Talaci, who's just got into second place. Carrick-Smith was exceptional yesterday from a high bib number, 48, and now 1/4 of a second he's gained time. Takes so much risk, but it's so controlled as well from Carrick-Smith. Beautiful skiing from the 18-year-old who recorded Great Britain's first Europa Cup giant slalom victory yesterday. Gets it very, very low. But Carrick-Smith knows what he's doing. A young man already gaining experience on the Europa Cup and World Cup tours. Oh, he's pitched forward. He's airborne. Big, big error in the run. That's going to take it all away. Carrick-Smith out of the race. Huge issue there for Carrick-Smith, and he was going for it, wasn't he? And he kind of had to. Why not? Great position after the first run. So Kastlunga guaranteed first or second.
Il reprend du temps au premier inter.
His first victory. Silver medalist at the Youth Olympic Games in 2020. Sandro Zurbrugg behind Philip Hoffman. I was on commentary that day. Remember being very impressed with Sandro Zurbrugg. But a Europa Cup win, just what he was after. He's been in the points twice on the World Cup Tour, but not for a couple of seasons. 2 years ago, a 17th in Val d'Isère. This sort of result, this sort of skiing that Zurbrugg is showing this season tells us he is on.
la force, podium. Énorme deuxième manche du Suisse qui a fait quelque chose d'extraordinaire. On applaudit la force podium. Voilà, merci beaucoup messieurs, thank you very much everybody. Allez, on filme tout de suite sur la fin de cette deuxième manche.
Didn't qualify in Gurgel, skied out. Didn't qualify Copper or Val d'Isère. Did qualify on the first run in Val d'Isère. Did qualify on the first run in Val d'Isère, but skied out. He was in a decent spot in 29th, getting in from bib 37, Castlunga. So he knows it's there this season. He knows he's not far away, and the Europa Cup helping him sharpen up, helping him work on the tactics to take into World Cup competition. Well, thrilling second run. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. Hopefully we are going to stay.
Dix parti. 68 au départ.
To 27th place, slowest of the finishers so far, but you're going to expect that on the second run. It would be something miraculous. Miraculous. Talleyrand now from France, he was 3.02 off the pace on the first run. Braken finishing 4.37 back. They're going to come at it thick and fast. On the second run, and certainly a few skiers are going to pick up some points, but can anyone make a big leap up the standings? Losing a bit of time in the mid-section, and the Italian 22-year-old finished 35th yesterday. Outside chance of a point or two today. There's still a couple of spots up for grabs in the 30 with the DNFs that we've had. And Zucchini crossing the line, and 29th, 6 seconds back. Arthur Hood started 74th. Skied into 34th after the first run, 3.12 back for the 20-year-old out of Val Thorens. 45th yesterday. Best Europa Cup performance for this young Frenchman, a 24th coming in Norway in March of last season. Just 2 Europa Cup point scores maybe his third today. It will depend on what a few other skiers do. Goes into 29th place. The key thing there for Arthur Hood, he's gone ahead of Zucchini, someone who started before him, so he's given himself a chance. Isaiah Nelson now for the USA, 35th after the first run. Nelson, 24 years old from Buck Hill, Minnesota, having a great series in Beaver Creek. That's NORAM victory, having a great series in Beaver Creek. That's NORAM victory and 2 NORAM Super G wins as well in some pretty tough fields, it's fair to say. And that's NORAM victory. Sorry, second place in the NORAM. I've looked at the wrong results. There he is. It was a tie, actually, with the Norwegian John Spratten Herland. So, still a victory ahead of Patrick Kenny. Simon Fournier as well in there. Isaiah Nelson into far, but it's still there. It's Graal Madsen that we're really interested in seeing on the second run to see if he can sort things out. I think he's going to go all or nothing. 32nd place for Bauer, 6.75 back. Theodor Bracken in 27th, one of the later starters. Bertoldini now from Italy, bib 75. As I was saying, we had quite a lot of DNFs on the first run, so some late starters up in the 30s after run 1. But you got to go out there, got to do it, you got to finish, get the second run, learn, progress, reflect on it, move on to the next race or training block, whatever you've got planned. And Andrea Bertolini into 31st place. No Europa Cup points for him today, but a solid second run, in fact. Nash Hugh Marchand is in the gate. Nolan Sweeney from the USA on course right now and out of the course there. And he was certainly on one, the 21-year-old. Skied out the first run yesterday. But Nolan Sweeney with some nice splits on that second run. Zucchini is underway now for Italy. Then next to go, Nash Hugh Marchand from France. So here it is, Zucchini on his way. Might see just a little bit more of him. Skied out the second run yesterday. Man that's never been better than 42nd in Europa Cup competition. This just his his 5th Europa Cup race. Looked at the wrong page on my notes. Easily done. Looking like the top 30 might just be safe now. Maybe just Graal Madsen, who we'll see in a few skiers' time, could jump into the 30. I think he either goes into the 30 or he comes out the course, personally. It's that kind of skier. And to be honest, for Graal Madsen, absolutely nothing to lose after that first run. Nash Hugh Marchand. Get the binoculars out. Where is he? So not in shot yet, I can tell you. 4.15 down at the first split. So losing a couple of tenths of a second out of the gate. Here he comes. Great rhythmical section of turns here. Classic GS, and then the hill tightens up again, starts to sweep down over this next section. 4.97, losing a little bit more time. You would expect that with the later starters on the second run. I know it looks like a lot, but trust me, these guys are so good. So much of these time gaps are just down to snow conditions, but you've got to just chip away at it, move up that start list. Nash Hugh Marchand from bib 28 into 32nd. Not a bad second run. The damage done for him on the first run. Christian Borgnes from Denmark, 41st after run 1. Gets a little late over the line there, the 29-year-old. Denmark's best. Borgnez, who's been a regular on the Europa Cup Tour, has got a Europa Cup win and second place here back in 2023. How he was going to play it, but figured not worth the energy perhaps, or could be feeling a little injury as well, so I won't speculate any further on that. But no Gral Madsen on the second run. Lorenzo Tomasbini from Italy. At this stage, I think in the top 30 is probably safe. And Arthur Hood from Val Thorens is going to pick up just his third Europa Cup point score. It'll be just the 1 point for him in 30th place. Bini is a DNF. This is Osterban from Slovenia. Recognize that Slovenian suit. Osterban 45th after the first run. He was 4.68 seconds back. Oh, catching that edge and down. Not seen anyone go down there before, but maybe just a little rut or something catching him there off balance. And the Slovenian out of the race. Well, good that he is up and okay, because Martin Sigvald and Jules Lodach are on course. And here's Sigvald from France, bib 87 of the 88 who started. But you'll take any opportunity you can get for a second run on the Europa Cup Tour. So here comes Sigvald. Isn't going to squeeze into the points here. Goes into 37th place. Jules Lodach and Thomas Reyna are on course, and then to Eric Reed, great yesterday, 4th, finished 5th today, and Hallberg, who was leading the Europa Cup standings after yesterday's 3rd place finish, finishing in 6th place today. Final few skiers just making their way down. It's been a real pleasure to bring you the coverage of the Europa Cup here in Valloire, France. My name's Ian Finley. Thank you for watching on FIS TV and for engaging on social media.
Contenders here. Little error, 5 from home, but that is our new leader. And the target time is dropped considerably. She's shooting for the podium here, and she just grabs third position, 0.53.
Valloire respire le ski de compétition. On a une piste, la Cétaz, là, qui est vraiment exceptionnelle, qui est digne d'une des plus grandes pistes de Coupe du Monde en géant.